focus on what's really happening with the textile space because it seems that the PLI scheme could get a further push coming in. Let me welcome on board Mr. Siv Ramakrishnan Ganpati, the MD at Gokaldas Exports, joining in on the show right now. Mr. Ganpati, great to have you on ET Now. Thank you so much for taking the time out. As per reports doing the rounds, the centre seems to be planning to bringing in, some of the textile products like t-shirts, innerwear, etc. under the PLI scheme for textiles. Tell me, if this inclusion were to come in, how does it really help you?
See, it will create fresh investments in the sector. So that's good news. And I'm seeing that there should be a demand pull going forward for the next 3 to 5 years. So, after an inventory led low demand last year, we are seeing traction coming back. And coupled that with a PLI, which encourages additional investment. And I think if the investment thresholds are kept low, many more new investors will come in. I think it will be good for the industry. More capacity gets created in India, more can be served out of India. It will increase exports.
Mr. Ganpati, I'd like to, ask you a larger question. We are getting feedback from the sector that textile and apparel sector is actually turning around very well on ground in terms of demand, in terms of the raw material scenario. Can you tell us what exactly is happening?
So, we if you track the retail demand, it has been secularly growing in the Western world. So for India, the major demand centers are North America and Europe. And in both these regions, retail demand through 22, 23, and early 24 has been, on the up every year, growing by about 2.5 to 3.5%. However, the demand from brands which buy garments from other regions like India, Bangladesh, Vietnam, China was very low last year because in 22 most of the brands had built up excess inventory due to supply chain problem. So last year demand fell considerably, almost 20% over 22. So this year, on that low base of last year, there is a growth. That's point number one. Point number two, the retail-led demand continues to pull up the sector, and there is also a move from Western companies to source more from India, and that's getting more pronounced when the demand is coming back. So that also is helping us to see more traction. So overall, I feel that in Asia, it is our India, Bangladesh, which would see some more growth. I'm finding that Vietnam is also kind of maturing given its high cost structure. And companies who want to move out of China, Vietnam are coming more and more to this region. So that all of this put together is helping us, see a demand growth for this region.
But can you just be a little bit more specific in terms of Gokaldas Exports as well, Mr. Ganpati, as to what the financial implications would be, any particular segment that you believe that would maybe benefit the most on the back of this?
So I think the segments that we focus are, women's fashion, outerwear, sportswear. I think we will continue to focus on those segments. We are also doing a lot of knits now and, embellished knits. So that also will continue to be a focus area. We are seeing growth across all of these product categories. I think for us, doing a 15% growth should be possible organically. That's how we are looking at the business unfold over the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, fair enough. What about any challenges? Is there anything that you're maybe anticipating in meeting the new PLI scheme requirements?
I think, let the PLI scheme details come out, then we will know, how it's configured and, if there are any challenges. But other than that, in India, there are the usual challenges continue, which is around availability of labor in certain segments or certain areas. And rising costs because Indian rupee has been fairly strong and has held up at about 83 rupees for almost a year and a half now. So cost increases is not offset by rupee depreciation. But that said, raw material prices are also now more or less stable. So there is some relief there. I think overall, all of these challenges are business as usual. I think if the demand pull is good, I think the businesses will do well.
Some experts or peers that we've been speaking with as well have spoken about the need for a different minimum entry level for the garment sector compared to other textile sectors. Just wanted to get in your thoughts as to what you believe is the requirement, given that unorganized players commands about 60%.
See, what happens is this sector is a big employment generator. For 1 crore invested, this sector employs almost 70 people. So that's one of the highest labor generation, possible from any industry sector. So and this sector also employs a lot of women, which actually brings in a second employment to a family. So from that perspective, I think we should have a different view on this sector from minimum wage perspective. It should be a good minimum wage which allows people to have a good life, but also keeping in mind that this is a second income for the family. The wage setting has to factor all of the combined income to the family, and then come at those levels. I think that's something which at a policy level one needs to think about. And obviously, the growth can be fueled as long as the workers are also taken care of. So, that balance has to be struck between all the constituents.
So before we let you go, I just want to talk to you about your recent acquisition which you did. By now, you may have already done your numbers, etc. You did a fundraising as well. Is it a right, view to look at FY 26-27 could be the big year for you, when all the efforts would actually start coming together? Can you show some light on that?
Yes, I think so, right? I mean, it'll take a year before all these acquisitions will also start, clocking in at the margins that I would like them to be. And by then, I think we will also have some clarity on the fabric mill investments that we have done, and if that also will start kicking in. So yes, you're right that FY 26-27 should be a good year for us. And we are working our way towards that. So going forward from here, we will be on a revenue growth, and margins will also pick up by then.
Okay, and anything that you're expecting by way of specific incentives or policies in the upcoming budget that could support textile exports?
I think policy continuity will be great. So the sector has certain support in terms of ROS, CTL, etc. And I think as long as there is a policy continuity, that is more than sufficient. I don't think that we need anything more than that. PLI would certainly help in creating more investments and creating more jobs for the sector. It is timed well with how the markets are emerging. FTA would be a good outcome for India, particularly FTA with UK, and later on FTA with Europe. That will spur the demand from India and growth of the industry here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ganpati, for taking the time out and speaking with us today. Good to have you on ET Now.
Thank you.
Let's now move on.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.